Welcome to another Dasher Cam Tesla adventure video where today we are stuck in a god-awful amount of traffic leaving Portland, headed to Washington, and I figured that this would be as good of a spot as any to give you guys my thoughts on Autopilot. I have about 20,000 miles under my belt in my Model 3 Performance. Loving the Model 3 Performance, and one of the coolest features about owning a Tesla is Autopilot. Sure, other car manufacturers have other level 2 driver assistance software, but I really feel like Tesla did it first, did it the best, and is really the gold standard whenever it comes to these driver assistance platforms. We are not talking about full self-driving beta today. We are only talking about Autopilot, which comes with all Teslas out of the factory, off the gate. That could change in the future. They could make it a software limited thing where you have to pay for Autopilot, but as of right now, 2023, end of 2023, Autopilot is standard on every model. So I wanted to go over a couple of quick things and let you guys know what my thoughts are about Autopilot, specifically in my 2023 build Model 3 Performance. I purchased my Model 3 Performance at the very end of February. If you guys are interested in checking out my delivery day video, that is linked somewhere around in here. But my car does not have any of the UHD sensors, I can't remember what the term is for them, but it doesn't have any of the little sensors that are around the car. It's full on camera, and using this camera here you can see that the car sees things, and it has like the little lines that it will give you like the parking estimations and all that stuff. So I actually prefer this over the UHD sensors because I drove a 2018 Model 3 a few weeks back, and you guys can check that video out somewhere around here. But I didn't like the way that that car showed like where things were in relation to it. I felt like it wasn't a very accurate portrayal. So the camera system, in my personal opinion, is better than the UHD sensors. You guys leave me a comment below and let me know what you think about that. But my thoughts on Autopilot are, whenever it works amazing, and it's probably the best feature of the car. But whenever it doesn't work, it's absolutely the worst thing in the world, because you're expecting it to do certain things, and whenever it doesn't do those things, it's not fun. Nice Model S right there, not a Plaid. I saw a Plaid a little bit earlier, but on time in the Model S, that is appropriate, like it. So what do I mean by this? When is Autopilot really good? Autopilot is good in situations like this where I'm in stop and go traffic and I can just let the car do its thing, and I don't really have to worry about taking over, because the car is able to sense all these cars around it, like you can see here on the screen, and it does a really good job of estimating where everyone is going to be when they're going to be there, right? It also does a really great job of just whenever we're straight driving in the left lane, specifically, maybe in the middle lane if it's a 3-lane highway, but specifically the left lane or the middle lane on a highway, because it will just keep going. It will keep the distance that you tell it to. I can go anywhere between 7, I think, yep, 7 and 2. It won't let you go into 1 anymore, from what I understand. Back in the day, they had it to where you could go into 1. I keep it around like 4 or 5 for daily driving. Personally, I think that that's where someone should be. I don't really like to ride people's asses. That's just me. You guys can ride people's asses all you want. You're going to get to that red light the same time that I am, maybe 1 or 2 cars ahead of me. So, you know, you guys go ahead and do your thing, especially whenever it's like 25 miles an hour around here, guys. I don't really see why we need to be going as fast as a lot of people want to drive, especially in Corvallis and Albany. That's like usually where I'm driving the most, and people just, man, I feel like everybody wants to race nowadays. But anyways, to get back on track with Autopilot here, Autopilot does a really good job of driving, just straight driving. I don't have any of the like lane change assist stuff, but I have noticed that so what's supposed to happen is whenever you put on your indicator to go and move lanes or whatever, it's supposed to disengage autopilot. Sometimes mine doesn't disengage, and I really don't like that because I feel like I have to like jerk and like get it, and it just kind of, it freaks the car out. It's not a very nice experience. So I would like to see an improvement in that, and whenever I put on my indicator signal, that I automatically get out of autopilot. Leave a comment below. Let me know if you guys have experienced this where you've been in autopilot, you hit the indicator stock, and it kind of like stays in autopilot and doesn't disengage. That's definitely a flaw that Tesla needs to get hammered out. We've had autopilot for however long now, guys. I really think that that should be something that's taken care of. I'm kind of upset personally that that happens. Another pet peeve of mine, I'll see if I have any footage of this. All right, guys, we are driving in some really, really dense, thick fog. Not even worth me turning on the interior lights for you guys to see. But what I do want you guys to see is what the car does whenever we come up to a merge, which I assume we're about to be coming up to a merge. I could be wrong. It's very, very foggy, and Scuffed is doing a really, really great job at staying in the lane, not getting freaked out by the fog. It did do a system abort error one time, but one time in 300 plus miles, that's not a big deal at all. Okay, so it looks like we are coming up to a merge here. We're gonna see how it does on this merge. This merge might be an easier one for it. All right, so here we go. We're letting it just kind of do its thing. A little bit of wobble, and you can see it's gone over, and now it's just kind of like closing itself back in. Is whenever I'm driving and I'm in the right lane on the highway, or anywhere really, any type of a highway style road where you've got a merge, and a merge is either to the left or to the right, and the car, in my opinion, should be mapped to know where and when these merges are, but it gets freaked out. So like, I'll be driving along the right side, let's say it's a merge onto the interstate or off of the interstate, right? The right side of the lane goes dark, and there aren't any lines, but it sees that line on the far side where it's like coming back, and it's going to come back in. The car just gets all kinds of wibbly wobbly, and it's just a really, really shit experience, if I do say so. Because you're expecting the car to be able to maintain that lane and know that you're coming up to a merge and that everything is just going to be normal. I'm just staying in my lane. The car should really know that. So honestly, that is my biggest pet peeve of autopilot, is that it doesn't know when the merging is. Let me know in the comments if you guys have experienced this as well. I would really like to hear your guys' thoughts on this. Specifically on merge lanes, it causes a real headache in my opinion, because the car is just doing all of this wobbling around, and if a cop is behind you and they're watching that happen, I bet you that they're going to pull you over and probably test you for DUI, even though you're using autopilot, and it's just doing what it's trying to do. What it's trying to do is it's trying to keep you in between those two lanes. It's using the camera, and it's trying to keep you in those two lanes, but it really just doesn't do a very good job of that at merges. So Tesla, please, if we could, can we have an update where the car knows where the merges are? That's all we really need. It needs to know how to stay going straight whenever it comes up to a merge. My final quick thought, this is just a quick video on my autopilot experiences, is whenever I'm stopped on autopilot, and then from a zero, I start going again just to start catching up to the car in front of me. I feel like there are times where it's just a little bit more of an aggressive acceleration with autopilot than I think that it should be. So it's not really doing it right now. It might have done it once in this video. I'm not really 100% sure because I've been talking, but it will just, if it notices that the car is going, it will just throw you back in the seat and kind of take you with it wherever it's going to go, right? So I think that there could be a little bit of dialing in done on Tesla's end on the software side. This is all software where, you know, up to a certain mile per hour, 5 mile per hour, maybe Tesla, we're just like slowly leading into it instead of giving it all the juice all at once while on autopilot. So those are a couple of my quick thoughts. You know, I don't have FSD, I don't have enhanced autopilot, I just have the basic autopilot that you can expect on any Tesla that you know it is purchased. You have the ability to use autopilot, and it is honestly a game changer. I really love it. So let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments below. Let me know if you use autopilot, if you don't use autopilot. I'm interested to hear what you guys have to say. Thanks for checking in with me. I hope that you've enjoyed this video, and feel free to check out, you know, any of my other videos. Maybe the Cybertruck video is linked up here in the description or wherever, but I'll see you guys on another one soon. Later.